Empaths, if you keep going above and beyond for other people and find that you're filled with resentment, bitterness, frustration, because what you give seldom comes back to you, then this video is for you. It's your girl, Kili Tavana, psychotherapist, who's passionate about helping empaths navigate one-way relationships, because we want to live a good life, right? We want to be healthy. We want wholesome relationships, right? And that's a beautiful ambition that we have. However, when we lack self-awareness and often self-belief, we can go round in vicious cycle. And it's just one of the many ways we end up sad, lost, depressed, and bitter towards people. I don't know about you, but bitterness is never a good look. So firstly, if you're someone who goes above and beyond for somebody and you find that what you give never comes back, first question, a self-inquiring question, which is always the way to go. One of the biggest problems us empaths have is we're often looking for the answer outside of us, or we're waiting for people to tell us their truth, which may not necessarily happen. And if you are waiting and waiting and waiting, it's one of the problems you might have if you need closure. Needing closure is also a massive recipe for holding on, wishing and wanting that someone might be truthful to you. They don't have to be. People don't have to give you an explanation. It's their free will. So if you're going to hold on and hang out for someone to tell you why they've done X, Y, Z, well, you might be waiting a long time. So when we think about going above and beyond, my question to you is, begin to ask yourself, what is this about? Why do I need to do this? Yeah? That way, you are now trying to understand what your motives are. Often, us empaths are not always clear about our motives and our intentions behind our going above and beyond for people. So my encouragement to you is, start to question yourself, like, what is that about? What would happen if I pulled back a little bit? What would that be like for me? Empaths, this is just one of the ways we spoil people with our going above and beyondness. And I believe it's something that we need to be conscious of, because it's in the long run, it leads to anxiety, depression, frustration, relationship breakdown. But often empaths, we've done it to ourselves. We have not been conscious of it. And as you know, my ambition is always to help you to become much more conscious. Secondly, your need to go above and beyond comes from your own voids. You may well try to be something to somebody that you've not had, and you need to understand what your void is all about. Where does that come from? Because if you don't understand what your void is about, you're going to project that onto other people. And if you keep finding selfish people, narcissistic individuals, they'll just lap it up. So whose fault is that? Is it your fault or their fault? Are they just taking advantage of a situation? This is why we must be asking self-inquiring questions. Like I said, empaths, we have a bad habit of expecting answers from others. And as such, we end up holding on, holding out, and waiting for that time. And often it doesn't come, and it's not healthy to you. It's one of the many ways you become stuck. And sometimes for some of us, it's one of the ways that our world becomes a lot smaller. We stop trusting, we stop exposing ourselves. Like I said in last week's video, we become too risk averse and we don't share again. Lastly, if you're someone who needs to go above and beyond, practice not doing it. Expose yourself to something different. Feel what it's like for you personally not to behave in that way. You're just practicing, right? It's just an experiment. Doesn't mean you're going to change your whole life. And then notice what you notice about yourself. Pay attention to what you hear yourself saying when you stop going above and beyond. That will give you wonderful self-insight. And you'll notice how uncomfortable it is for you, how you want to kind of knee-jerk yourself into your usual ways of behaving. So this video is really for people who are finding themselves feeling frustrated, annoyed, filled with resentment and potentially bitterness, as your going above and beyond is never reciprocated. But remember, often selfless people need selfish people, that's your yin and your yang, to match up with. So pay attention to, firstly, what your motives are. Secondly, what void this may fill. And as ever, if this is a problem for you, stop the behavior. Just stop and notice what you notice. But if you're like many empaths I work with and have worked with and have helped people to overcome, then you're going to be risk averse and scared of what repercussions may come should you not be the overgiver that you've always been. So that's where fear begins to grip your life. And if that is a situation, then it's highly likely you're going to feel stuck and disempowered, which again is another recipe for common mental health problems. So I hope this video makes sense to you. If you need any further support, do feel free to reach out. And I also have my guide, you can get the link below, that has got really important information about my JED technique. Justify, explain, and defend. We need to be careful about justifying, explaining, and defending ourselves. Take a look at the link below. Well, no, click below, have a look, let me know your thoughts. It's your gal, Keely Taverner, psychotherapist who's passionate about helping empaths break free of one-way relationships so that we can make our pain purposeful and we can live a fulfilling life. Don't that deserve a like? Do take care of you, because if you don't, who's gonna save you?